Hello and welcome to the Chesapeake Today Show. It's your Executive Director, David Loop.
And Candace Montgomery, Director of Life Enrichment.
Well, Candace, I know it's been a couple weeks since I've been on set.
I know.
And to the residents, thank you. So many prayers and well wishes. You know, this effect with Bell's palsy was an eye-opener, different. Very grateful. It was nothing serious. And hadn't even been 2 weeks and maybe a little improvement. And, you know, it's going to take some time. But, you know, I was told temporarily, you know, high percentage of full recovery and just crazy, that little virus and affecting that nerve. But anyways, thankful to be here. And if I'm talking a little bit funny or I don't give you the biggest smile, thank you for understanding. So with that being said, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. We're glad to have you back, for sure. Thanks for jumping back in with us.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
So we are in a very fun time of the year.
I know. It's hard to believe. I don't know where this year went. It's gone by so fast.
You know, this past week, tuned into a radio station. Next thing you know, I'm stuck on the Christmas tunes.
Oh, and I've
So
already
they're
started.
there. So
Yes.
the Christmas tunes are being played.
I've started.
Went out a weekend ago, did a lot of purchasing of baking supplies.
Ooh, I bet.
So
Okay.
that was quite a haul.
Yeah.
You know, it's a couple cartloads, but all fun.
Do you go up to, where do you get your apples from?
Well, this year had a combination.
Okay.
Had one of the residents present to me probably 12, 15 apples.
Oh, nice.
From a lovely orchard.
Okay.
And then got some additional ones. I wanted some Granny Smith, so I went to
Yeah.
Costco,
Okay.
excuse me, just Kroger's.
Yeah.
And added, so I like to get a little bit of sort of the tangy, more baking apples, put some Granny Smith, so I mix them up.
Yeah.
So it's about 15 of each. So peeling those, dicing them.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did not go to Carter Mountain this year.
That's what I was thinking
I
that you
didn't
went
go to
there.
Carter
Okay.
Mountain. We, you know, there's been
Okay.
times where Vera and I have run over there, but with this year, we just said, let's get all the shopping done in one day. Didn't take that extra day.
Yeah.
Plus, when I was
that's
given
okay.
those apples, I said, well, what a great way to use them.
Most definitely.
Just put them into pies.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Well, that's this week.
So
oh,
this week, so G-Mini, so when I think about, you know, again, 36 pies, plus maybe one or two, yeah, it's sort of fun. I look at pictures. Last year, I got an assembly line down. I mean, it's amazing how I just line up all the spices with the proper measuring spoons.
Goodness.
And I have, you know, where I have the mixer at, where I have, so the mincemeat comes together actually pretty easy.
okay.
But it's a lot, though, between cooking the meat, grinding it twice, so it's like invisible,
Right.
because it really comes out like almost powdery. You don't know it's there.
Right.
The apples takes a while to peel those. Plump the raisins,
Oh my gosh.
the special proportioning of the brandy and the apple cider. Have to be a chemist there. But it comes together and just let that refrigerate for several days.
Okay.
And then start the assembly of, and that one's tougher because it's the upper and lower crust.
Okay.
So that's when I really have to do my fluting, practice it well. Remember to slit it, all the pies so they can bubble, breathe. And then I egg white and sugar all those tops. So egg whites, sugar, those 18 pies are in. Then I start on the pumpkin.
Right.
And I can do typically 6 pies at a time in my oven.
Oh wow. Okay.
So pretty fortunate.
Wow.
Is it 6 or 4? Maybe it's 4. Nah, it's probably 4.
Still.
Yeah, it still
Yeah.
takes quite
I'm
a
still
while.
amazed.
And then of course each of the recipes they change temperature mid bake. So I start at one temperature, then I bring it down for the
Okay.
last. And both pies almost take an hour in the oven. So you start putting the number of hours into pies.
That adds up quick.
Yeah. And I can hope for some good football on TV.
Right.
Because I'm like, football, baking,
Some
football.
sort of, yeah, to take your mind off the clock. Because you really,
Yeah.
so the pies social is Tuesday, but you really start that process like
The
Friday?
Wednesday before. I'll start Wednesday.
Okay.
So I'll start this Wednesday. And then I pretty much know what the baking, all mincemeat would bake on really Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all pumpkin.
Oh my gosh.
And then go from there. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, now, because I have it, you know, counted, I know it's 36 eggs, you know, 12 cans of carnation milk, 9 cans of pumpkin,
I'm seeing you with your Costco cart now.
6.5
getting all
pounds
your,
of brown
all your
sugar,
goodies.
11.2 pounds of white sugar, so I have to get this size bags, everything.
Yeah.
5.8 ounces of allspice.
Oh my
So
gosh.
all every ingredient.
Yeah.
So it's fun. So
It is
anyways,
fun.
So for the
We
residents,
enjoy it.
I hope you come and enjoy the Pie Social Tuesday at 2:00.
2:00. Yeah.
And
know.
enjoy a piece of pie there. Love passing a microphone around. Love hearing of residents talk about traditions and memories and history. And I always am tickled when somebody tries the mincemeat pie for the first time and they like it.
You have to give Caitlin a really hard time because she's like, I hope David doesn't ask me to try that pie, because she's on the fence about trying it just because of the name. So you have to give her a hard time about that.
Yeah.
So she said she'd try it if she was asked.
I'll tell her that it's probably, when you think about pies, it probably has the best nutritional count because it's got
little protein,
it's got fruit, it's got a little alcohol.
Yeah.
Got a little
That's
bit of everything.
okay, balance.
A little egg wash on top of more protein, whatever. So enough of
You're
that.
selling
So it's fun to talk about it. Thank you for
Yeah.
allowing me to feature it. And again, hope
Oh, sure.
residents, for any of you current residents who've experienced the pies before and enjoyed it, remember to get a hold of one of your neighbors who's a newer resident, because maybe they too would like to experience this tradition.
Yes,
And that's
most
all I've tried to do,
definitely.
have some fun, tradition, and it's a joy for Vera and I to do.
For sure. And she'll be here to help
Yep,
as well.
she'll
It's
be
always
here.
nice when she's here.
Yeah.
Because one year your sister was here too, so you make it quite a family affair, which is nice.
Sister Terry loves to come and help do it.
Yeah.
But flying in from Ohio or wherever she's at the moment, but
It's a lot.
I think she appreciates it's just fun doing mother's recipes. And there's just
Right.
that bond. So
Of
it's fun.
course.
Yep.
Well, before that, Monday, we're taking a day trip to Richmond to the Holocaust Museum. So leaving at 9 a.m. And then, because this week is a little interesting with the holidays, we have town hall on a Monday. So town hall at 2 p.m.
This coming Monday.
Yes.
Very good.
And then, of course, on Tuesday, there is some shopping at leaving at 12 from the Hampton entrance, and then your pie social at 2. And then Wednesday, we have the basic and intermediate German class beginning at 3 p.m. and the movie that evening, Spencer 2021. I think that's about Princess Diana, if I'm remembering correctly. And then, of course, Thanksgiving. And then Al's going to be giving a talk on Friday night at 7 p.m. Talk with Al, the night they tried to kill me. So that should be interesting. Whatever the story is there with Al, who knows?
Yeah.
Could be anything.
Yeah, it could be having nothing to do with that.
Exactly. That is factual.
Yeah.
So it's always a good time with Al. You never know what you're going to get. But it's a busy week.
Yeah. Well, with Thanksgiving, clearly Bruce and Kurt and all the team, Anisha, the chef, Chesapeake room set up. I'm sure if you still need to get some reservations in, I know we're very accommodating, but the larger parties are in the Chesapeake room, and then those parties under 6 in number in the Mariners or the Regatta Grill. 25, 26, 27 turkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. And yes, I do walk into the kitchen and smell. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when they're starting, even though I may be doing my pie social, I'm going to go in there.
Yeah.
So that's sort of fun.
Oh my goodness. When I
Yeah.
was MOD last Sunday, Julian was here, and residents are definitely fascinated by the amount of turkeys.
Yeah.
they like
And
hearing
the
about
other
that.
foods and just the buffets. And I know Vera and I were going to be here on Thanksgiving Day. So if any of you residents are dining alone, please reach out. Let me know, because Vera and I would love for you to join us. So just please hear me say that.
That'd be nice.
But even before that, we haven't talked about the activities preceding Thanksgiving
know.
week and some elves in the building.
Yes, and as you were talking about the Chesapeake room, like everyone will be enjoying their Thanksgiving meal, but there will be Christmas around the community as our Over the Moon ladies, Kristen and Bobby, they started last Monday.
Yeah.
Bringing everything down from the storage shed in a record time, 45 minutes. Yes. Record. That's our record.
And hopefully that was a little bit clearer out there too.
Oh yes, it was. I was going to mention that
Yeah.
to you. It's really tidy. It looks
Yeah.
really nice. The ladies were appreciative of that as well. But 45 minutes, we used the truck, 2 vans, and I mean, we're in a good groove now.
Good.
So the ladies are happy, and of course, that enclosed external cafe areas where everything's going to be stored, everything really fit in there nicely. The walkway is clear. It actually looks beautiful with the pipe and drape up and the background scenery that they have. And they've got some new things up their sleeve this time.
So that means you residents, by the time you're seeing this show,
Oh, yeah.
you've already walked around and probably marveled at a high majority of the decorations complete.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because when I listen to Bobby share, 24 plus, maybe even up to 30.
Oh, 30, yeah.
30 elves, and the fact that they work from evening to sometimes wee hours in the
Wee
morning. I mean, we're
hours.
talking if she's doesn't even till 5 in the morning.
Right.
And then Bobby's mother, the record-winning age of 84.
I was about to say, yeah, she's 84.
84
I think.
years of age, so she's going to be helping. We're really lucky to have them being so committed,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm just ecstatic to have that partnership. You do a great job coordinating everything with them, and we're just lucky because
sure.
you know, even though the amount we pay, which is barely covering any cost on their part because you have so many volunteers,
Sure.
they have saved us each year just because of the way they protect, pack, do things. You know, the shrinkage, the damage could equal what we're paying them,
Oh, yeah.
that they just do it so well.
And so organized. The bins are so organized. And just, I mean, I've been here long enough to remember when everyone had to come around and help decorate the big tree.
Yeah, and then you had a overweight,
Oh my
aged
gosh.
executive director like me up an 18-foot ladder that I shouldn't have been. And yeah, we're doing all this stuff. And then there'd be some trees like, wait, we haven't even touched that one yet, and it's December
know,
15th.
I know.
And that one didn't get put up.
That was what I remember, the hard part of everyone trying to negotiate their schedules to help.
Yeah.
And that was the only way it was going to happen. And it's just, it is a blessing that these ladies can come in and they have such a skill and such attention to detail. And they get that joy from coming back for the tree lighting
Yeah.
and Christmas at the
Yeah.
Chesapeake and
Yeah.
those things. So,
And just continuing to do wonderful things for them, thanking them is important.
yes, most definitely.
So, the Christmas decorations. Yep, a little before Thanksgiving, but it's okay. It's Thanksgiving is late this year. We want to still enjoy all of this.
Yes.
And I don't think there'll be a single complaint.
I have not heard a single one. I thought I would
Yeah.
have some folks riot,
Yeah.
but everyone is just ecstatic to see everything out.
Well, Vera and I did our tree.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you know, right before Thanksgiving here, so done, and did that in the midst of the pie baking.
Nice. Just kind of get in the spirit. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I love
So
it.
that was important.
Awesome.
So we've got that coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess as we look ahead, anything you want to speak about in December?
So I know I've sent some emails out to residents looking for cookie elves to do our assembly because we do that the Thursday before Christmas at Chesapeake that Saturday, the 14th. So I've had some folks respond on that, which has been great. And then still looking for some volunteers for the day of Christmas at the Chesapeake, whether you want to volunteer for a drink station, cookie station, kids crafts, whatever area. So seeking some volunteers.
And of course, people can volunteer to bake.
Oh, yes.
So
yeah,
if you
they
want to
can do
bake
that.
some cookies, you know, maybe have a grandchild or son or daughter over, and just something traditional that
Yeah.
you've done. You know, an extra dozen of cookies, 2 dozen, always welcome.
Yes.
And I know that those cookies rarely last the full 3 hours.
Oh, my
You know,
gosh.
within the first 2 hours, maybe at most,
I know.
the cookies go.
The cookies
so,
go.
Very much a favored part of the
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
at Chesapeake.
And it's always funny to see our cookie elves for our assembly line. You know, oh, this piece looks broken. I need to eat this one, you know. And it's like, was that really broken? You know, they start to really.
What Vera will say is, "Ooh, that one looks like a crunchy one. That's broken." Vera's
exactly.
all about. She
'Cause
likes.
she always helps us too for
yeah,
that, which
she
is
likes
lovely.
the hard cookies, and I'm all about soft.
The soft and gooey. I like that
yeah,
too. Yeah.
So that. So do we have any forecasts? Is St. Nicholas going to be coming on campus this year?
Yes, he is the 17th, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, because then we have the check distribution on the 18th, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like it's. I know you mentioned in Round the Clocks last week
Mm-hmm.
of seeing some of the interesting shoes that folks put out in the cottage, and
Yeah.
we have some of that inside the building. But it's just funny to see like the little high heel that comes out. It's like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to
So
fill
when
this
you
up?
put your shoes out on that St. Nicholas day, and again, you think it's December
17th,
17th,
yes.
then that's an opportunity for residents. Again, you have to be good. There's some measurement here. And
Yeah.
now, you know, Rex Hogan, if you only get 2 pieces this year in your specialty booth, and you know, maybe you haven't been a good boy.
Right.
Now, Cindy, if you get 20
Extra.
pieces, ooh.
Then they
Or maybe it's
decide
just
they're
the
gonna
opposite.
share.
But
Right,
anyways,
who knows?
We
Yeah.
have fun. So the elves go around, and it is fun to see residents put out, whether it's normal shoes, high heels,
Yeah,
boots, whatever.
slipper. I mean, it's interesting to see what they come up with.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. I know at the very beginning of the month we'll have the Christmas tree lighting.
We do.
But yes, we will have to pretend a little bit. We're
Right.
probably going to light the tree. We got a marketing event the day before, some
Sure.
other reasons. But we promised to turn the tree lights off a few minutes before the tree lighting ceremony.
So we can do our unofficial switch.
Yeah, and then we'll put the switch in, and then it'll just
Yes.
be part of the service.
Exactly.
So that would be fun.
Yes, everybody loves that. That's fun. See who sits by the tree this year. That's kind of how we've
That's right.
done it the last few
That's
times.
right.
Who's sitting close to the switch?
That's
They're the
it.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
So other things, just real quick, Candace, for residents to hear. Over the next few weeks, we are seeing some steady progress in assisted living and the renovations. It's been slow, but I'm just really excited that Cindy and Simone are back in their offices. They have the third floor culinary arts studio that they can use. The game room up on that third floor, also an area being used. What was where many of you would play cards, we call it the first floor gathering place. It now is partitioned off. And as Candace has described it, it doesn't have Christmas decorations behind it this year.
No.
This year it's getting renovated. And in the next 3 weeks plus, they can really make some good progress there.
Yeah.
And the good news is we have the materials now all coming on site. Not just the lights, which were terribly back ordered because of the second manufacturer, and then the handrails now arriving, and all the furniture on our side is here.
Yeah.
We've stockpiled it around
I
everywhere.
know, yeah. I see
But
that.
so that's happening. If you haven't heard me say it before, we won't start the healthcare renovations until right after the first of the year. Just makes sense. Start it, blitz it. The last order of equipment's December 1st, and that will be some of the custom kitchen equipment for the cook to order. So if that arrives December 1st, we absolutely know it will be here in that month. Starting in January, and then just really blitzing healthcare will hopefully be a plan.
Yeah.
So, even though we had hoped for the end of the year, it is what it is.
Things happen.
We're going to have a couple exciting things with both healthcare and the new pavilion,
I know.
potentially end of March.
Yes, that's
So those
exciting.
two,
Perfect
that's-
for springtime.
yeah, will be quite a rock and roll for next year. So, being said, those are some of the things I know of. I'm excited. The decorations alone.
Me too. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Getting everything over is always kind of the big hole. And then once we get it here, then the fun really begins now.
Well, and I appreciate you and your team, the incredible time you have to put in for Christmas
sure.
at Chesapeake. And, but again, your organizational skills, your team now, Isaiah, you've seen it well enough. You get it down. It just becomes a lot more routine.
Oh, yeah.
And that makes it easier. But it's special, and it's always for the people who see that for the first time.
Oh, my gosh.
When I talk about it at orientation for new team members, say, come. Put it, I like today, we had a group of new employees, and they all pulled out their calendars.
Oh, yeah. Same
And
when I
they're
was
gonna
talking
write
about it, too. Yeah.
And
It's exciting.
And hopefully you residents realize how important it is for your families to come, and seeing that interaction between residents and team members and families and children, that's that relationship thing that is so important here.
It's putting the names to faces that they hear about.
Everything.
Yeah, I agree. I love that as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, if that covers it for the
I
day,
think so.
alrighty. Well,
Special interview today, right?
a special interview, so that'll be coming up next. You definitely want to listen and tune in because you're hear about one of our most fascinating managers to join us in recent times. So enjoy that, and right now, just say absolutely happy Thanksgiving, and see you at the Pie Social.
See you next time.
Hello and welcome back to a special portion of the Today Show when we do an interview. And today it is my pleasure to be interviewing Kurt DeGraw. Kurt, welcome. Great having you with us.
Thank you.
Well, as many of you gotten to know Kurt over the last few months, such a valuable addition to our culinary management team, and just so excited about what he's doing today and into the future in just elevating our culinary and dining program. But Kurt, we welcome you. I know your early concentration has been more in food and beverage, managing those areas, but
Yes.
Again, just so good to have you on board.
It's great to be here. I've really been enjoying it.
Fantastic. So Kurt, residents always learn a little bit about our backgrounds. Where are you originally from? What would you like to share about your upbringing?
Well, I always tell people the short story is I'm a guy from New Jersey who, in my 20s, moved to Miami, Florida, and that's where I met a fantastic lady from Hampton, Virginia. So at some point we moved to Virginia. I've lived here for over 30 years. I have two sons that I've raised, a 28-year-old and a 23-year-old, who are born and raised in Virginia, so they're official, and I just love this area. I love Virginia. I love Hampton Roads and the whole state overall, and enjoy it.
Well, let's go back to that first Miami. So, what was that first job then? It must have been that attracted you down there. And
Yeah.
who would have guessed you met somebody from Virginia in
Yeah.
Florida? So, what was that first type of role you had?
So in college, I was, my track was to be a chemistry major and go into pharmaceuticals, and that's what my interest was. Looking back on that, I could never imagine sitting at a desk for my whole career. So at some point, there was a need, an accident at a facility I was working at where I needed to get another position. So I went to this great hotel in Morristown, New Jersey, and quickly just developed in that route. And at some point, the general manager asked me if I was interested in moving to Miami to assist his son, actually, in starting operation of the Doral Golf Resort and Spa, a banquet operation, which needed some work. So before he even finished that sentence, I was in a car headed to Miami, and I loved it down there. I loved the experience. It was a little bit overwhelming at first. I was a guy in my 20s managing a team of 100 Cuban professional servers who had literally come over on a boat from Cuba, and they were serious professional banquet servers, and I was just a very young man, so they guided me through, they helped me through, but also there was a beautiful restaurant manager at the Doral, my wife Teresa, who we developed a relationship and fell in love down there, and that experience overall, just the scope of Doral in general, it's such a world famous golf resort, and what we were managing, I got to a point where I was the lead food and beverage manager on the Doral Ryder Open, a major golf tournament, and those experiences and handling those kind of things kind of really just fast tracked me to my career and where I wanted to go, and the Doral was an amazing experience.
And when you're, I can relate that in my 20s, I was given a couple extraordinary experiences that all I could do is try to learn from those smarter and
Yes.
older than I. And sounds like you were very successful and humble and all the things you have to be. I still put in my time, put in super long hours. I remember
Yes.
that.
Yes.
But and paid it forward. And my memories are working for 2 Jewish men in Cincinnati in a state-of-the-art retirement community that had everything you put in a community today: child daycare center, fitness center, swimming pool, tavern, restaurants. And I cut my teeth on that and learned from a lot of fascinating people.
Yeah, I definitely learned, within that 4 years that I was at Doral, I consider that, my equal to a bachelor's degree in hospitality management and a very,
Absolutely.
concentrated effort.
And, for me, I've opened 5 different communities, and every time I opened a new community, it was like double the tenure. Because what I learned in that short experience was just like, crazy. What fun. So from Doral then did you come back to Virginia, as you said, and where were you first employed?
So my wife is from Hampton, Virginia. Her family's from here. Still, on a side note, a lot of residents that I've met have interacted with my wife's family over the years, so that's been really enjoyable. But, over the course of our relationship, she had a desire to move back here, and we really spent a lot of time visiting this area, and I fell in love with it very quickly. This area is just fantastic between the mountains and the ocean and what you can do in this great state of Virginia. We decided to make this our home, and I joined the Omni Newport News, which is no longer there in that structure, as a banquet manager and a food and beverage director as I grew to. So we came in that route. So that was my entrance into Virginia. And then after going back to Tampa for a short stint to help a lot of the food and beverage management from Doral had taken over the operation of the Saddlebrook Golf Resort. So I went down there for 2 years and helped that operation. But then I returned to Kingsmill in 2000, and that was beginning of a really long, loving relationship that I had with Kingsmill. I fell in love with that place and that location and the people that operate that. But that was another big operation at that time. Anheuser-Busch managed Kingsmill, and once again, a very big golf tournament environment. So that was another great experience, but it was mixed in with my burgeoning family. My first son was born while I was at Kingsmill, and so we really enjoyed that time. But just another growth experience in Virginia that I loved.
Yeah. And then you also had some experiences either northern part of the state and I guess most recently up towards Winchester or towards that area.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get into my injury a little bit, but I actually, when I was at Kingsmill, I fell and had an injury, and I was out of commission for a little bit, and that was a tough thing. But when we were there, my wife and I, it was a really time of reflection where we talked about our lives and where we wanted to go and what we wanted to be. And actually, the injury occurred in Winchester, but where we wanted to be with our becoming empty nesters for the first time. So now you understand where the time frame is here now. But my youngest had gone off to college in New Jersey, so my wife and I were really talking about it, and we combined our fields and our love of Virginia and went to Winchester, Virginia, which is a beautiful location. When you're in the Shenandoah Valley and up there, a fantastic area. But we also discovered the pull and the love of the Hampton Roads area and wanting to be back with our children. So that's what brought us back into this area. And that's also the first time I had the opportunity to meet with David and Bruce and see the opportunity here. And it was a fantastic discussion and the opportunity that came about. So that's really what brought me to where I am sitting right now.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's okay if I just paraphrase your injury you alluded to, because I
Yes.
think I think all of us start to have a greater appreciation for gravity. And you had a fall. I think you
Yes.
were working from a ladder.
Yeah.
And just you really went through significant rehabilitation on your ankles, your feet, and we're just so grateful that you've healed. You come to the level of work you are doing here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some days you go home with that Aleve in hand.
Yes,
Because
yes.
there's some soreness, but just grateful that you've been able to return to this level.
But this spot in my life and my career, you start to realize that things happen for reasons, and where you end up usually is a little bit more preordained than we would like to think. So, where I am right now, being here in this great community and being still close to both of my sons who live in Newport News and my wife's employment, it's just such an enjoyable time for me right now. I'm really just, it's after a 35-year career, I feel as though I'm as energized and as ready to do any projects as I've probably ever been. So.
That's great. Well, we appreciate that, and I know it's obvious. Residents, as you alluded, so many have grown up in this area, and the stories and the multi-generations. I mean, when I talk to a resident, oh yeah, my family came over in 1600, 1700. It's like, I'm from Ohio, and we became a state in 1803.
Yeah.
And when did my parents or grandparents, great-grandparents, whatever, came over? Gemini. But it just amazes me. And also when I talk to the locals and say, well, where else have you lived? They haven't lived anywhere else.
Yeah.
And then I go on and say, well, I've lived in Florida, and I've lived in Hawaii, and Chicago, and Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and this is my favorite.
Yeah.
And people are like, how could that be? You didn't like Honolulu? Sure, I loved Honolulu. But you're on an island.
Yeah.
You're captive.
Yeah.
You get island fever. Did you like Chicago? It's beautiful, but cold and wintry, and windy in the winter. And when I tell them all the attributes of this area, similar to what you just described, it's a unique place to be.
Absolutely, yes.
And I can't help but think over the last few months where you hear about the wildfires and the floods and the terrible hurricane activity, we're still so blessed that we've avoided so much.
Yeah.
That Tornado Alley, we're never going to be that. It's unusual. So, very good. So, you've now been with us for how many months?
About 2.5 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Getting to where I can remove the new employee.
I think so.
tag
I
at some point.
think that we need to ceremoniously do that. We need to get Bruce to get that off right away. I just have heard from so many residents how appreciative they are. Your interaction with the dining room. Had a lovely encounter with Kalani Mills, and I was talking with Kalani, and I said, Kalani, boy, do you have Kurt convinced you are a superstar. And I said, he is just so proud of you and what you're doing, and for you to be building up these young people and giving them that type of confidence, and for me to be able to follow up when you tell me something, it's special. So you're definitely making great connections.
Well, you're bringing up Kalani. I think it's a good example of when I first started, people are always going to want to feel you out a little bit and see what your capabilities are. But I hope I've at least projected, my desire to want to serve the residents, and that's what all of our first priority should be. And I think she might have seen that, and I just love the response that she has. She's, you know, always there and offering to do things that need to be done. You know, sometimes we live in a generation that might be a little bit different than ours, and you know, there's some hesitancy to, you know, a little bit more me. But it's great to see, you know, how this is developing down there, and I'm really proud of that part of it.
Yeah, well, it's the hard work that you all put in, particularly when it comes to our culinary and our front of the house staff, because you know, clearly we don't have the professional Cuban waiters. We don't have the people that are expecting big tips
Yeah.
and working at a Ruth Chris or a fine steakhouse. And we're getting these young people, good people, but have typically no experience, and we're starting them out.
Yeah.
And so it's the patience, resilience, it's pulling from all of your wonderful training,
Yeah.
but it will pay off.
I believe so. Yeah. I always find that one of the things that I find the most joy in this position is helping develop, you know, people who are at the beginning of their careers, and you know, maybe at some point they see a spark where it changes from just a job to a potential career, and think, you know, I can do this for the rest of my life and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's something I strive to do every day when I walk in the back door, is try to find those people who might have that interest and help develop that as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, that goes a long way. It earns respect from your team, and it just shows that you really care. So it's wonderful. Well, I know that your wife continues to work in food service as well.
Yeah.
So she's in the area.
Yes.
And where's her role? What
So
does she
again,
do?
she has the same 35-year hospitality career that I've had. You know, we've been in very large resorts. Again, I keep saying about the most enjoyable things that I find. Over the course of my 35-year career, my wife and I have probably worked together for maybe 16 or 17 years of that. So I find her as a great partner, and even when we've been not working together, to go home and have somebody who kind of understands, you know, the business, and you know, you don't leave in the morning and say, I'll be home at this time. You'll say, I'll see you when I get home, because this is how, you know, it kind of works here. But she had the opportunity when we went to Winchester. She actually started working for Sodexo at Shenandoah University, which is a beautiful little university campus up there. And she enjoyed it. So when we came back down here, the opportunity for a Sodexo opportunity in Yorktown Public Schools came up. So she's doing catering. She's not really limited to one of the schools, but she does a lot of catering events for Yorktown school system. So she's enjoying that, and that's another challenge in itself, learning a new part of this hospitality field, but it's been very good in that. And she's an amazing woman, you know, and we owned our own business for 14 years. And, you know, I like to say I was the mule of the business, and she was the leader. She was the chef, the salesperson. Even though we did it all, she was that rock that did it. And I just, you know, did my best to keep up with a real,
Fantastic.
true professional.
So when it comes to home, then does she? Do you ever get to contribute to cooking, or is she pretty much call the kitchen?
She calls the kitchen because, you know, I like to eat, so I like to eat stuff that is edible, so she cooks most of the time. You know, I go out and I do the grill thing and all those kind of things. So I'm always honest in any position I've ever had, that I feel as though I have a master's degree in food and beverage, but don't put a knife in my hand, because that's not the side of the business that I'm part of. So I can do it all. I can oversee it. I can manage all the people with the knives in their hand, but, you know, I'm not that part of the skill level in the food and beverage world.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Every once in a while, a resident will come up to me and they say, David, why aren't you just cooking? You could do great meals here. I've done a few of our cook-offs, and I do the pies and some other things. I'm like, no, trust me.
Yeah.
You seem just limited. That's probably all the experience I got. I, too, am blessed. Even though I'm not professionally trained, my wife's a wonderful cook. And she just, a lot of the Mediterranean and foods from Albania, just really prepares beautiful things.
Yeah.
And I mean, and during the pandemic, I don't know how you all handled it. You know, of course, we didn't eat out often. We didn't carry out. We just cooked more and more at home.
Yeah.
And found ourselves eating out less. And then she really just kept producing these meals. And I'd like, Vera, Jiminy, if we were at a restaurant, this is a $50 meal.
Yeah.
If we were at a restaurant, you put a glass, this is a $100 meal. And it's just like, why are we going out when the food can't get any better?
Well, you definitely hit our relationship, because my wife, a plate doesn't go out of our kitchen at home without the final little garnish on it. So yeah, she has presentation and the skills too.
Isn't that amazing?
When we dine at home, we're basically dining in a very, very nice restaurant.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah. Well, someday you have to figure out, maybe have a little cooking demonstration. Have her come down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a while back. I was real close to Bruce, and I had worked with a couple. He was here. He was working with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was on assignment from South Korea, and his wife was a professional chef from South Korea.
Yeah.
It was during the pandemic, and we were this close to getting her approved to come here just to cook an Asian afternoon.
Yeah.
And just to come in to show a specialty, and the residents were going to experience all that. And at the last minute, the chiefs of staff said, we can't have her go out of the bubble
Yeah.
with the COVID.
Yes.
And but it would have been a wonderful experience, because she was so enthused, and she'd prepared for hundreds before herself.
Yeah.
But I can just think of your wife, if she wants a different audience, sometimes she could be a wonderful guest chef,
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
and it would welcome that. So very exciting. So Kurt, when it comes to, you're not at work, what do you like to do? Any hobbies, any interests that you have?
Yeah, it all changed. My career has been in golf resorts, so obviously golf kind of always naturally lent itself to what I did on time off. So whether it was Doral with 5 major golf courses, or Kings Mill, a lot of my time used to be in golf. After you start developing and raising your family, it becomes more family oriented. But I really love just that part of it right now, just enjoying time with my wife and my kids, and seeing what men my sons have become. They're great men, and I enjoy watching that, and just being a part of that, and that gets me so much more enjoyment than anything else that I can do. So as much time as I can spend doing that. Yeah. And I'm a boater. I know that I'm not the level boater that Bruce is with maybe some big boats, but I'm very happy with a 15-foot center console and my dog just going out on the beautiful waterways around here. So I spend some time definitely in the Chesapeake waterways and those kind of things, and enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, my boating is even smaller than yours. I have a kayak, a little electric motor,
Yeah.
and some good paddles, and that's about as far as mine goes. And it's maybe 12 feet, 13 feet. So, but anyways, the water and everything is beautiful, and I could just envision you, dog, just out there, and what a nice ride.
Well, part of my love for Virginia is we've had the great fortune of living on the water. Sometimes in Gloucester, we lived in a beautiful location on the Severn River, and it's just so nice to walk out the back of your house and go onto the dock and get on a boat and just go. And that really clears your mind a lot, and makes a lot of other things relative. So very enjoyable. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Kurt, I know the residents have enjoyed getting to know you, and it's an informal way for them to see and learn more about you. Don't be surprised if you have some people come up to you and pick on a couple of these conversations and ask for more. But we're just thrilled that you're here. Look forward to your career continuing to grow and expand, and I know you're going to make a difference for years to come, and just really grateful that you're here.
Well, the one thing I just really love to end on is that in 35 years, the hospitality skills that you wind up experiencing are all generated to putting yourself out there for either a guest in a hotel or a member at a club. But I can't find the enjoyment that I get out of making this happen with the residents is something that's
The relationship.
It's not that it's been surprising with me, but I just leave at night just thinking that I just had so many great conversations, and I just found out so many great things from residents, and that comes back to really making you want to make their experience so much more enjoyable, and want to do the extra things. And I can never look at walking in the back door not thinking of how can I possibly make somebody's day better today, and that's my goal, and I really enjoy that part of it as much as probably anything else I've done here so far. So.
Good. Well, that's well said. So thank you. Thanks for being part of our team, and hope you've enjoyed this special version of our Chesapeake Today and our interview. So until next time, take care.
Thank you.